There are war memorials in every town and village in Wales. They stand as a permanent reminder of how easy it is to forget. They are simple monuments to devastation and glory. The Slate meets 5 people touched by their violent beauty.
No mockeries now for them, no prayers, no bells, nor any voice of mourning, save the choirs, the shrill, demented choirs of wailing shells, and bugles calling them from all sad shires.
The First World War still has the power to shock even today. As the first modern mechanised conflict, its brutality is difficult to comprehend.
They marched us into a cornfield there, and the Germans were in the cornfield waiting for us with machine guns and mowed us down. I think we lost about 300 men in possibly 20 minutes.
This sheer scale of suffering is represented by the vast number of First World War memorials you can still see today. In Wales alone, literally hundreds were erected during the immediate post-war period, all paid for by their local communities, however impoverished. So why were so many built?
The war touched so many people, and continued to touch many people, that in the 1920s it seemed fitting to remember the dead.
200,000 soldiers never had a marked grave in France or anywhere else. One of the most important points about war memorials is they came to be seen as, if you like, the surrogate graves.
It is impossible for us now to realise or appreciate what these monuments once meant. People will pass them by nowadays and not even look at them twice. But at that time, these monuments were the only concrete, tangible evidence or connection the wives and the mothers had with their fallen sons or husbands. And it became a common practice for mothers and wives to feel and touch the names of their loved ones.
Women generally aren't featured on these memorials. They do tend to be very much focused on the men. In a sense, that's inevitable, since it was the men who did the fighting. What this memorial does is acknowledge the fact that war is as traumatic in its way for women.
There was no one design for war memorials. They were often made by local artists, and each has its own character.
This particular memorial has got this young boy with a gun, and the gun's outsized and heavy looking. He doesn't actually know quite what he's going to go fighting for. Sending a boy like that off to war just seems so sad, so tragic.
This memorial means to me a great deal. Most of the boys you see that are on this of the First World War, they were in school with me.
For historians, war memorials are a wonderful way of physically showing people the impact which war had on particular communities. The sheer list of names, the scale of the death and destruction is so wonderfully depicted in this kind of monument.
Mae'n un pwysig iawn i argraffu ar meddyliau pobl ifanc be alla hapno.
They remain a sign of a war which killed a great many people, a war which is still very easily forgotten.